Hi, and welcome to our 5 ways to back up a server PowerPoint presentation. And this video goes out to Lisa, who made me realize that we didn't have a really great way to explain to our clients, how our backup processes work. So thanks, Lisa, for all your years of letting us at Crown help you. I'm just reading from this PowerPoint here. And hopefully this video will help make sense of all the ways to back up. So here we go, without any further ado. Way to back up, number 1. Okay, so this is just the basics. Number 1 is the basics. So this is just files and folders to the cloud. Companies like Carbonite, Mozy, and others, these are generally good for single file level backups, not good for database structures such as accounting softwares like QuickBooks or TurboTax or medical softwares or different database-driven applications. They're good for just Word documents and all this, and just kind of worst-case scenario, backups, picture files, music files, PDFs, Excel documents, and all this. And these, with Carbonite and Mozy, these are backed up to the cloud. Number 2, disaster recovery to a local NAS device. And what this means is if you have your server in its entirety, means basically that we're going to back up everything in the server, its entire hard drive. We're going to take an image of the hard drive and we are going to put it onto the NAS device. The cool thing about creating a disaster recovery image locally is that if we need to restore, we can restore very easily as well. It makes it so that we don't have to guess about which folders are being backed up and all this and that. We just know that if we're doing an image copy of this server, we have everything. And so we're feeling really good about that. And this type of backup happens at night. We can also fire it off in the middle of the day. And it's great stuff. Disaster recovery, way number 2. All right, now, way number 3 is the same thing, disaster recovery, but that this one is in the cloud. So we're taking the entire server's data and we're putting it in the cloud, which means we're taking everything. So the place can get ransacked, burned down, thieves can come and steal all the computers, and we will have all of the server's data in our co-location facility, which is great. And we can even recreate that server within our co-location facility. So what that means is that, we can, in a disaster, see the data and access it as well. Way number 4 is disaster recovery with a spare tire server. I'm going to edit this because that's going to drive me nuts. Disaster recovery with a spare tire server. So we can take all the data out of the server, including the database and its contents, and back it up to another server locally or in the cloud. So this means that if we're backing up the server, we're backing it up to a place in which we can reenact it within an instant. So we can just flip it on and say, okay, we've been backing up to this location, turn it on. And it's another server of sorts that will make it so that production can carry on. This takes a little bit more resource because you then have to have a server that is actually on some kind of device that is running constantly that will accept this server and turn it on in some way. This gets a little bit more complicated than the other types of backups because of its nature, where it's injecting itself into another server. But it's really great for environments that need a certain level of uptime, like if they can only be down for an hour. and it'll cost them $10,000 or something per hour after that. Um, the other method would be volume shadow copy. This is something that we employ on servers that makes it so that the server will, if someone's modifying a Word document, then another user goes in and modifies that, and then another user goes in and deletes that Word document. Volume shadow copy keeps a copy of everything, even the versions of the previously edited versions of that Word document, for example. There are some constraints to it, however, such as you're limited to the amount of space that's on the server and the retention that you give to volume shadow copy. Some of the cons are that it's not that granular when it comes to being able to restore, and it's not like it has a whole crazy interface that's all nice like in versions, in the first few methods. But I give credence to this method of backup. This is ways to backup number 5, only because we can have a certain level of restorability with this solution. So we can restore files with this, and that's why it makes this list. And that is pretty much it. Thank you for joining me for 5 ways we do backups. I hope you enjoyed it and hope it makes a little bit of sense. Thanks so much, and appreciate you guys supporting our business.